How does the US government actually work? There are a lot of misconceptions about how the US government functions. That's why a refresher can be a good idea. Or if you're new to US civics, there is no better place to start than with the basics. This video series will cover the US government structure, its history, and the events that have shaped the political landscape through today. There are many comparisons between the US and European nations. While there are similarities and most of these nations are democracies, there are some key differences. The US government has 3 federal branches. Only 2 of these branches are voted for by the people directly. As you may know, these are the President and the Congress. The 3rd branch, the judicial, is appointed by the executive branch and approved by the legislature. Congress, created by Article 1 of the Constitution, is the legislative branch. Congress drafts legislation, or bills, that are then voted on. And if they pass the vote, bills are then sent to the President to either sign or veto. Veto is another word for reject. This is the process in the most basic terms. We will cover this in more detail in a later video. There are the 2 bodies of Congress. The Senate, which is the upper body of Congress, and the House of Representatives, also known as the People's House, or the House, which is the lower body of Congress. The House of Representatives has the sole right of impeachment. The Senate has the sole right to try impeachments, with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presiding over the trial when the Senate meets in this capacity. We will get into impeachment and conviction in more detail in a later video. The President, created by Article 2 of the Constitution, is the head of state and runs the executive branch. The President oversees the presidential cabinet, which is comprised of the various heads and secretaries of the executive departments. These departments include agriculture, commerce, defense, education, energy, health and human services, homeland security, housing and urban development, the interior, justice, labor, state, transportation, the Treasury, and Veterans Affairs. The President is also the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military. The President also has the authority to sign legislation into law or veto the legislation. Executive orders are another authority the President has. We will go into more detail about the presidential powers in a later video. The United States is a democratic republic or representative republic. This means that elected officials at the federal, state, and local levels are elected by the citizens either directly or, as with the President, indirectly. We will cover more about voting and representation in the next video. The 3rd branch of the U.S. federal system is the Supreme Court, created by Article 3 of the Constitution. The Supreme Court is the judicial branch. They oversee all the federal and appellate courts and rule on cases brought before the court either directly or through the appeals process. Keep an eye out for our 2nd video in this series on basic civics. Thanks for watching!